very amazing and very special Saturday stream from Marvel Heroes. I am extremely excited. We've got a ton of stuff to talk about. Essentially, we've got three major sections of the game that are getting sort of changed. Well, not really three sections, but three really major aspects to the game that we're going to be messing around with. For now, I'm just going to wait just a little bit so that people can start coming in and doing all the stuff. And then we'll get started right away, because this is going to be a while, but it's going to be absolutely amazing! I cannot wait. Very, very excited to go through this with you guys. And look at that! Baptiste is here. Hello there, Baptista. How you doing? Alright, so just as a brief primer for you guys, at least, the three things that we're going to be going over, first and foremost, Magik. She's going to be released hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and I gotta say, what little I have played of her is absolutely incredible. She is amazing. She's a ton of fun. She's a great character. I love what Gazillion has done with her. I think they did an absolutely amazing job, and I'm very excited to show you guys that. But in addition to the release of Magik, we also have the complete revamp of the defensive system, the way that the defensive stats function, and more importantly, how they interact with one another, has been completely redone from what it was before. Now, the last time that something like this had been done was when dodge was essentially completely nerfed, and it went from reducing all damage completely to just doing half damage. But now all of that's gone, and you can even see, instead of having a number for defense, I have a percentage for defense instead. So I'll be going over that. And then last but absolutely certainly not least is the Danger Room is back, and it's been retuned. So that means that we're going to go back with Rocket. I know that you guys probably hate it when I play as Rocket now, but I got to play with Rocket because he's like sort of my baseline for all of this new single-player content. All right. So, very, very exciting. It's going to be pretty awesome today. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get started with Magik right now, simply because I just want to get started. Like I said, we got a ton of stuff to go over, but do feel free to ask any questions in the Twitch chat. I'll be paying attention as best as I can. But first off, look at that. Look at how awesome she looks. Absolutely amazing. I don't remember the name of this costume, but it's really cool. I guess I don't have a costume. I'm naked, essentially. Well, obviously, she's on Test Center, so what are you going to do? So, Magik is the sister of Peter Rasputin, also known as Colossus, and her big thing is that she is able to summon summon demons from Limbo to come and fight alongside her, and she also has the very unique Soul Sword, which allows her to slice, dice, and otherwise dismember bad guys. So, her other major tree is the Magik tree, which is, I think, very similar to Dr. Strange in terms of you're talking about some AoE, you're talking about some crowd control, stuff along those lines, and of course her specialization is in here as well. I'm going to do what I normally do. I'll just go through each tree one by one so that you guys can see all the different powers. So we'll start off with the Soul Sword because it's right here. Now, we do know, first and foremost, that these two are not going to be final because these are actually Nightcrawler's images. And I know that only because I really like Nightcrawler. I actually wore my Nightcrawler shirt, and I forgot that her things were like that. But see, that's how I roll. And look at that. See? Ultimate! That's a placeholder if I ever saw one. All right. So, starting off with this, we do have just the basic strike, strike, strike. This is a pretty standard thing that restores your, what's it called? It restores your spirit when you use it. The stepping discs are actually pretty awesome. They create the little explosion things. The 7-league step is something that you can get when you use Magik as a team-up, where she sort of bounces around amongst all the baddies. The rendering swings is kind of cool because this actually also gets helped out if you have some of her toggles available. In this case, the Eldritch Armor or the Mastery of the Soul Sword, which are really, really good. And this one actually helps you out with health. It's almost like a vampiric sword strike type of thing. The Levitating Disc is her basic, travel, woo, happy, happy power. And incidentally, the Stepping Disc is her regular movement power that you would normally see. The sorceress eruption is very nice because you get a pretty large-scale AoE attack as well as the crowd control in the immobilize as well as the weaken, which is very, very nice. Last but not least, for now at least, is the soul cleaving, which actually is really interesting because it gets helped out when you have summoned demons. So it's kind of nice because depending on how you want to play her, if you want to go with the limbo summons or if you want to go more soul sword or more magic, she essentially has a soul sword for that. You know, because there's always a soul sword for that. We'll go ahead and grab Step to Me as well since there's one slot left. And this one's kind of cool because it is very similar to Flash and Grab, which is why they're using the same image for now, where she essentially sends the disc out and it brings back the bad guys. So very exciting. And look at that. Games Mike and Chet and me are both here, so that's very exciting. All right, so I'll show you guys the basic movement, the starting movement power. This is it right here. This is the stepping disc. And you can see it has that nice little explosion when on the 3-second cooldown that has that nice little boom. And you see there, now I don't have it, and now I should. There you go. So that's her basic teleport movement. This floating disc thing is the movement that she ends up earning later on that you can use, so it's kind of cool. It is also free, spirit-wise. You don't have to spend anything for it. I believe that this one also is as well. It might be because none of her powers have spirit. I honestly haven't looked, but who knows. All right, so soul slashing, her basic cut. Mostly what I want you guys to take a look at are some of the VFX that she has, because she has absolutely incredible VFX. They look really amazing. I'm really, really happy with the way that they look. The 7 League Step, this is the bouncing one. And again, that's one that you get with her team up as well. The really nice thing about this is that you get essentially no cooldown. So you can keep spamming it. Very similar to, again, Nightcrawler with his Blink Strike, where you just go pow, 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 pow. But unlike either Taskmaster or, what's his name, Captain America throwing the shield and doing the ricochet of the shield thing, where they gotta wait for it to come back. Bah! We don't deal with that. Alright, so the rending swings, this is the one that actually gives you health back. You can see it looks very, very similar to the soul slashing, and it's actually the same animation, but again, the rending or the rending swings, it does more damage, it does cost spirit, and you also get the additional damage if you've got the toggles on, which I don't. I'll get to those a little bit later on. Right? So there's that, and then we got the Sorceress Eruption. Boom! Like I said, giant AoE. They're immobilized temporarily, and you also get the weaken effect as well. So this is a great opening attack that you can use, and again, it does get the enhanced effect for Infernal Servitude, which is one of the things around here. I don't remember which one, but it's somewhere. Well, there's Eldritch Armor at least. And I always get lost on these. There it is, Eternal Servitude. Woo! So there's the Sorceress Eruption, deals 200% additional damage and a larger area of effect. It's pretty awesome. Now, the interesting thing is that she has a lot of passives, but or not a lot of passives necessarily, but she has a lot of passive slash toggles. So there's some pretty interesting stuff that we can do here. Like I said, I'll get into that later on. Essentially, the Soul Sword tree is the one that stands most on its own compared to everything else, really. All right, so Soul Cleaving, this is the attack that really synergizes well when you've got the summons out and fighting alongside you. Obviously, right now I don't, but this does a great deal of additional damage if you have those summons out. But again, you can see the actual animation itself is pretty much identical to the other two, with the other two swings. Basically, I'm just cycling through all three of them right now, and it's fairly tough to tell the difference between the two, except with the, what's it called? The Soul Cleaving, she actually does the little knee spin thing, which is kind of cool. But either way, So those are the main attacks that she utilizes for like her basic sword swinging. The step to me, this is again her version of Nightcrawler's not Blink Strike. Shoot, now I can't remember. The one where he snatch and grab, where he gets the people and comes over. So they didn't move because they're the training dummies, so they don't actually move. But you can see what I mean. And so you can essentially use this the same way as you use Nightcrawler's stuff, and just have it fly out and then it comes back to you. So pretty awesome. So that's all of those, and the last one at the very bottom is the Mastery of the Soul Sword, and this one is actually a nice little toggle effect. So this one has the passive, which gives you some really great damage and crit rating, and then this is just the way that you go if you're going pretty much all Soul Sword, or mostly Soul Sword at least. So you notice the 7 League Step deals 200% additional damage, and then it also adds in the cooldown with it as well. I don't know why that happened there. Let's try this again. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now it's on, and you notice that this bar on the top went down. That's because that is the command bar. That is her way of summoning the demons. That's how she does that part. But now whenever I use the 7 League Step, you can see it's got a cooldown, but it also has a lot more jumps since I've got the Mastery of the Soul Sword toggled on. Right, and you see my command went back up after I got rid of it. Okay, so that is the Soul Sword tree there. Like I said, it is really solid. She's got a ton of AoE. She's got a lot of capability, a lot of ways to bring down bad guys. She's got the ability to bring them to her. She's got the ability to stun and weaken. So you've got a lot of potential just off of a strictly melee build, which is pretty amazing. All right, so now we will go into the Limbo tree, which is absolutely incredibly fun. So this has a lot of cool stuff. This is where all of her various summons are, and you can see that these all say command reserved. So in this case, the Lesser Demon is 1, the Fist of Nastirith is 5, and then the Spitting Demon is 1. That the Nastirith himself or herself, I don't know. Again, I don't know Limbo. I don't know how it is. This is 5. Here is the Dark Pact toggle, which obviously increases all of the damage that's being done by all of your bad guys, and is just generally awesome. Again, each tree has a toggle that really is designed for that individual tree, which is kind of cool. But the really cool thing about the Dark Pact is the way that it works is it actually essentially blows up all of your summons, and then it gives you some massive bonuses after, or it blows them up and they do a bunch of damage, and then you get bonuses depending on who was there. So you see it says if you had the Limbo Demon, then you get bonus health. If you had the Fist of Nerith, then you do a giant shockwave, or a soul shockwave, the actual attack rather, I'm sorry. And then if you got the Limbo Spitter, then you get additional damage. And if you got Nastirith, then Step to Me does an additional 200% damage. So it's really pretty awesome. And there's the Shoal Shockwave, by the way. So it's there. I absolutely love this because there is so much synergy amongst all of her abilities that it just makes it a very, very unique playstyle here, which I am obviously greatly excited by. Okay, and then last but not least is the Eternal Servitude, which is very, very interesting because you've got a couple of different ways that this works. So first off, this is what really makes the Sorcerer's Eruption do extra damage. And then when you actually use this attack, then you can only use it on the biological enemies, so you can't use it on robots or things like that. And then you actually enslave them, and then this then becomes like a permanent resummon for that particular bad guy. So it's really cool. It's somewhat similar to Emma Frost's mind control thing, but essentially it's more than that. It's basically a more intense edition of it. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started here with just a little Lesser Demon here. So you can see it spent 1 command point so that I could get that Lesser Demon, and now we'll get the Fist of Nastirith here. So that's this big giant fat guy here. You can see that took up 5. I still have 2 left, though. So we'll get a spitting demon here, which allows us to get some nice ranged attacks going. Let's see, there's the spitting demon. Here, let's scoot over here so we can get him to teleport out. Okay, so there's my little posse. I got my entourage going right here. Now, I can't get the actual Nistirith guy right now because I don't have enough command points. But what I can do is I can get a couple more of these little dudes. Or one more of the little dudes. So see, now I got all my posse going. Alright? Now, if I use my awesome Dark Pact, then this means it's going to immediately dismiss all of those guys, and I get the various bonuses of different sorts. Okay? So that's how that works. And again, it is a toggle, so right now those bonuses are active, and they will remain active until I shut the toggle off. So I've got all of that cool stuff going on right now. So let's see. I had the Fist of Nerith, which means that the Soul Shockwave has been enhanced by the toggled effects of Dark Pact. So you can see immediately the incredible amount of synergistic capabilities that you've got with Magik here. So I just toggled it off, so I got all my command points back. Now I just want to try out Nistirith. Whoa! Get him, buddy! Get him! Oh, do it! Do that thing! Yeah! Alright, so that guy is another 5 command point dude, but he's pretty impressive. He's got a ton of health, he's got the cool giant fire thing, and then we'll summon just a bunch of the regular limbo demons, the melee guys, not the spitter guys. So again, it's just you got all sorts of different combinations that you can use. You can have a whole bunch of the little melee and little ranged fighters. You can only have one of the big guys at a time because you only have 8 of the command points. I don't know if there's anything that really modifies that in any very substantial way. Unfortunately, I can't use Infernal Servitude on a testing dummy, although that would be really cool because I totally want to summon a test dummy. But either way, we use the Dark Pact again, and now I've got the bonuses from the big guy. And in this case, that means that I've got the Step to Me additional damage. So you can see here, again, it's been enhanced by the toggled effect of Dark Pact. I don't remember if it changes it. It doesn't change the VFX. But you can see now it's got a substantial cooldown, but it does an incredible amount of damage instead. Alright? So that is the Limbo Tree. Obviously, I didn't go completely into everything that you can do. So, like, see, we can just summon a bunch of these little dudes. Alright, so now I got all these little guys, and then whenever I unsummon them with the Dark Pact, then I'm going to get a bunch of bonus health, and then I'm going to get a bunch of bonus damage from them. And again, as long as that toggle stays on, I'm going to keep those bonuses, regardless. So it's really cool. It's a very, very unique mechanic, and I really, really like the way that they went about doing this. Okay, so that is the Limbo Tree. Again, it does synergize with both the Soul Sword and the Magik, but for now we're going to go ahead into the Magik Tree. So we'll start off with the Spirit Fangs, which is somewhat similar to the what's it called, the Fangs of Nagroth. I don't remember what it's called, but Doctor Strange's nom 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 attack that he does. Right? So this one's nice because you get the vulnerability. Eldritch Armor, this is the really cool passive and toggle effect that really gives you the armor with that new defense, the new defense system, which again I'll talk about more in just a little bit, but it's pretty impressive, suffice it to say. So the Soul Blaze is her standard crowd control break, but in addition to everything else, you also do some mental damage as well. Incidentally, all of her damage is mental, if you guys were curious about that. So yeah, just FYI. The Vampiric Incantation is kind of a cool little attack that we got going on here, which is it's sort of like a mark that you put on the bad guys, and then you can drain their health, essentially, because vampirism. So it's pretty cool. And then, of course, her specializations, the Amplified Damage, which increases the damage whenever you use the all damage you do to bad guys affected by the vampiric incantation get more damage. You can weaken the enemies, or you can confuse the enemies. So you've got essentially a crowd control option. You can reduce damage, or you can increase your damage against them, which is kind of cool, and it's unique in terms of specializations, because this is very much a sort of enclosed specialization. It really only interacts with itself. Okay, so then we got the Bone Wall, which is a very famous style of defensive tactic that we see with Cable, we see it with Human Torch, and a couple others that I can't think of off the top of my head. That just creates a nice barrier that allows you to avoid damage. Okay. And Soul Shockwave, this is kind of a cool little like pew 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 type of effect that you do. Very reminiscent of Final Fantasy, if I say so myself. The Vengeful Spirit. So this is kind of cool because a lot of her magic abilities actually synergize with whatever bonuses that your summon powers have. So, for example, the Chompy Chomp Spirit Fangs synergize with the damage that your summon allies do. Vengeful Spirit does the same thing. And it's really neat because the way that Vengeful Spirit works is that you sort of build up Vengeful Spirit and then you sort of spit it all out. So you defeat a bunch of enemies and then you go pew 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 type of thing. And last but not least is her signature, the Otherworldly Nova, which just does kind of a pretty awesome thing here. So it's really just a big giant AoE attack, very similar to a lot of other powers. The nice thing is that you do have the health and spirit regeneration to go along with it. All right. So first and foremost, we got the little chompy chompies, so you can see our cool little things. Now again, take a look at these VFX. It's absolutely incredible, and it's really neat because you can sort of see the movement that she does is just like wah, so it's cool. I really like it. They don't look like chompy chompies, obviously, but who cares? They don't have to look like chompy chompies. Okay, so the vampiric incantation, this is the thing that's based off of the specialization. I'll go ahead and say, oh, whatever. Jeez. Who cares? There we go. Alright, so this is the one that'll allow me to do more damage when I use the vampiric incantation. So that's it right there, and you can see the pentagrams on top of them. So now I'm doing more damage to them. Obviously, you can't really tell, but I am. Okay, the Soul Shockwave, again, this is very reminiscent of Final Fantasy here, where it's just kind of like the nice giant opening attack that you can use on, well, pretty much anybody. So it's pretty cool there. The Eldritch Armor, unfortunately, I skipped over. This is really interesting because it reduces your command points, just like the Mastery of the Soul Sword does. And actually, let me see something. Excellent. So you can have both of them on at the same time. So you could summon a couple of demons, but then basically from the Mastery of the Soul Sword you get a whole bunch of extra damage, and from the Eldritch Armor you get a whole bunch of extra defense. And on top of that, with the whenever you get hit and the Eldritch Armor is active, it has sort of a blowback effect on the bad guys as well if you're in melee range. But you can see when toggled on, you get the deflect rating as well as the mental damage to the enemy, and look, see, there's my defense now. Yay! Very fun stuff. All right. So, the last couple of little things here, we've got our Vengeful Spirit, which unfortunately I don't have any charges for because I haven't actually killed anything, because I'm kind of lame like that. So we can see if we can take one out relatively quickly at least. I probably won't be able to though because nothing is optimized. So so there's the Bone Wall. You can't see it too well, but it is actually horizontal, basically going this way. Again, the VFX are absolutely incredible. It looks amazing. I really like the way that all of her stuff really looks. I think that it's all pretty impressive. So there's that one, and last but not least, the Otherworldly Nova, which gives us that nice AoE, and again, absolutely incredible VFX, damage over time, large-scale AoE, which is something that everybody needs. Plus, this also has a synergy with anything that she currently has summoned as well. So, really, really impressive overall. Let's see. I should be able to take this guy out relatively quickly. I don't know if this will give me a charge for my, what's it called? For my Vengeful Spirit, but we'll see. It did! Excellent. Okay, so now I have defeated one guy, so I've got my Vengeful Spirit thing. It's not extremely good, but again, if you're in like Midtown Manhattan or something like that, then of course you're going to be able to utilize it much more efficiently. But yeah, it's kind of cool little homing beacon thing. Beep, 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 beep. And again, the thing is that you build up the charges based on the number of people you've defeated, so you can have up to 5 sort of stored away and ready to go. Alright, so those are her main abilities, and all we have left is the ultimate. However, again, I just want to emphasize this. I am extremely happy with the way that Magik turned out. I love the way that all 3 of her trees really are well synergized to one another. I love the idea of the command to have you do your summons so that you can sort of mix and match anything and everything that you need depending on the situation, or just summon them just to dark pack them away so that you can get the bonuses for a little while. It's absolutely incredible. And I like that, by and large, the trees can stand on their own. Certainly you could go all Soul Sword. You could potentially go at least mostly Limbo, but you would need at least something else, probably from Soul Sword. Magik has not quite the same issues, but again, you would need at least 1 or 2 things from the Soul Sword to really help get things going up and getting up and running. All right. So that's that for all of her abilities. Last but not least is the ultimate, which is the Dark Scythe. So this is a pretty impressive transformation, essentially, where you actually change into Dark Clyde. I say it's Dark Clyde now, I don't know. But either way, the whole point is it's a transformation ultimate, and you obviously get massively increased damage, you get massively increased basically everything, including health regen as well. So we will go ahead and use this. I'm going to zoom in real quick before I use it so you guys can see it better. So, there she is. There's Dark Clyde. Again, I don't have a clue how to actually pronounce it, so the name of this character is Dark Clyde. And I like this in the context of it's something that we don't have, we actually have very, very few of. So immediately I can think of transformations that we have. We've got Rocket Raccoon has the little badoomp, like mech warrior summon thing. And then we've also got that's all I can think of immediately. But very, very few actual transformation summons. And this is actually the only one where when you transform, you have the original powers that you're using, and instead all of your stats just get massively upped. Dark Child. Really, Child? You know, that's like how... never mind. That's terrible. This is terrible spelling of child. I'm just saying. Alright. So either way, that's it for Magik. We're going to move on right quick now into the new defensive, the new defense system. So I'll swap over to Rocket Raccoon for a couple of reasons. First, because I want to show you guys what he looks like in this context, and I also want to switch to him because later on we'll be going into the Danger Room, obviously, because Danger Room. All right, so now. Every person in the game now has a new way of getting their defensive stats. So instead of, whereas before we had defense rating, we had mental, we had energy, we had physical defense rating, we had deflection, we had dodge, we had this, we had that, we had the other thing, all this kind of stuff. No argument. That's right, there's no argument because it makes no sense. I'm just saying. So either way, the way that it works now is we've only got three things. We've got defense rating, we've got dodge rating, and we've got deflect rating. And they all sort of combine together into a total defense rating. So you can see we've got damage reduction from defense of 1.7%. Don't really have a whole lot of defense, unfortunately. The deflect is 0.1%, and the dodge is also 0.1. My damage reduction from gears and powers, however, is a whole lot. And that's really where it comes in, where now every single hero is going to have powers that grant you some kind of, at least essentially two of the possibilities. So you've got either defense and dodge, you've got dodge and deflection, whatever it happens to be. Now, in the case of Taskmaster, he's the only one who's going to be able to have the what's it called? Shoot, now I can't remember. Defense, dodge, and deflection as well. And this person actually reminded me of something fun. I'm going to switch back to Magik real quick. One thing that the developers mentioned was that they were basing Magik distinctly off of a character from a previous action RPG. When they mentioned all of her different powers and her capabilities, the very first thing that I thought of was the Necromancer from Diablo 2. And I'm pretty sure that really is exactly what they're going for, because you had the same kind of idea of a limited number of summons that you could have at any given time. You actually did have a bone wall capability and all that kind of stuff. So just a fun quick fact there for those of you still curious. And since we're back on Magik, you can see here I've got a massive damage reduction from defense, simply because I've got a higher defense rating. And then as far as her powers, again, the Eldritch Armor, in her case, is the big thing that gives her the defense rating of 20% and then the total deflect rating of 30%. All right? So if we take a look at the stats, now you can see first off that the defensive stats are much, much smaller than they used to be. And you can see the damage reduction is now based off of the defense ratings, the deflect chance, and the dodge chance. So there's the defense rating, which really doesn't really matter nearly as much, and then we've got the deflect and then the dodge. So effectively, Magik as a hero is primarily based around defense and deflect. So the way that it's working now is the defense is the overall ability to reduce damage. That's just, you know, what you are. That's your tankiness. The deflect, if you successfully deflect attacks, then that means that you will be taking half damage. And the way that the devs describe it, it makes perfect sense. You know, if you get hit by a bullet or whatever, and you manage to like just slightly get out of the way so that it just like grazes you or whatever, you're still injured, but not nearly as much as you got like shot in the heart or something like that. So just saying. The other thing, dodge, is now going to be, again, the full damage reduction, the way that it used to be and the way that it should be. But the main idea now is that a lot of defensive ratings will be based off of gear rather than pretty much anything else. So you can see here that my staple gun for Rocket Raccoon has the damage rating. There we go. The Bandolier has damage reduction and then damage rating. So the overall damage reduction is just whatever you get reduced by. Same thing here for the armor of the Hazreth 3. You get damage reduction from that. So it's essentially primarily the slots 2, 3, and 4. To a lesser extent, slot 5, you really get that the armor or the defensive stats of various sorts. And again, the idea is that every hero from 2 of their powers will be getting 2 out of the 3 potential dodge, deflect, or defense rating from passive abilities. Let's see. Oh man, what? That's disgusting. I guess that's a good reason to not know how to spell child, though. But still, it's very sad. Very sad. All right, yeah. I lost my train of thought here. So there's the Unbridled. Where is his other one? It's been too long since I played as Hulk. I apologize. I have to find his other thing. I could have sworn that it was this one, but I guess not. But essentially, the idea is that there we go, Hulk tough. So see, damage reduction right off the bat, deflect rating right off the bat. So in other words, Hulk is not meant to be a dodgy character. That is not his purpose in life, which makes perfect sense because he's a giant hulking brute. Haha, that's right. I said hulking brute. That's okay. I'll be here all day, folks. Tip your waitresses. All right. And look, he's got a Santa hat. So, essentially, the idea behind this is everybody will have 2 out of the 3, except for our good friend Taskmaster, who I will switch over to now and see if I can find all 3 of them, to essentially wipe the board and completely simplify the way that damage and defense, rather, is done. So here, defense, deflect, and dodge rating all increased by 15% because of his 1 passive. And you can see I've got an overall defense of 34% with a damage damage reduction of 34% overall. So again, no longer having to really try to figure out what all is going on, how everything is working. We got very clearly spelled out 5.7 damage reduction. Boom, got it. I understand what that means. I can easily get that. Then 5.8, 5.6, 7.8 from the slot 2, and then the slot 1 doesn't have any sort of damage reduction or anything like that. The other thing, the Omega system is supposed to have it as well. The problem is I haven't gotten a chance to really look at it. I would imagine Human Augmentation does, though, in some way, shape, or form, but who knows. So essentially, any time that you had... so there's dodge rating right there. Or it actually decreases the dodge rating in that case. But there's physical defense rating. So the whole point is that this will be stacked onto the new system, where any Omega points that refer to defense in any way, shape, or form will now be more focused on the damage reduction, primarily to make everything a little bit easier as far as trying to figure out what the game is talking about with regard to this. But again, Taskmaster, the only person who is inherently able to have both defense, deflect, and dodge capabilities by himself. Let's take a look at another one. Let's take a look at Spider-Man, because I believe Spider-Man is deflect and dodge, if I'm not mistaken, but he might be defense and dodge. So we'll take a look here. So they're defense and dodge, right? Again, the whole point being that, there you go, 42%. So this is very, very helpful with survivability, hopefully. Speaking of which, we have to go to my good buddy Nightcrawler, because if my Nightcrawler is not really able to survive very easily, then we're going to have some words, Gazillion and I. Alright. 39%! Boo! 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 Sorry. But again, very clear damage reduction here. Going over to his capabilities and his passive powers. Where did it go? See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. I can't remember where anything is. There we go. Incredible acrobatics. Right. So the dodge rating and the damage reduction overall from incredible acrobatics in this case. And on top of that, this means that we potentially have a little bit more reason to increase some of these one-hit wonder one-point wonder passive abilities that we used to have. Just, what are you doing, Drax? That we used to only have to get the procs or whatever it happened to be, but now potentially having a lot more reason to take some of these as well. So yeah, that's the sort of general broad strokes for how this new system is working. Like I said, every single person, based off of their capabilities in the comic books, have 2 out of the 3, but the end result is the same. The idea is that we want to increase survivability in some way, shape, or form, because, let's face it, in comic books, the heroes rarely get hit. And the question is, are they doing it because they're getting out of the way? Are they doing it because they're so enormous that it doesn't affect them? Whatever it is, somehow they are not able to be hit. So yeah, and this is Gazillion's way of really driving that point home. One thing that's interesting to note is with somebody like Rocket Raccoon here, who's very focused on summons, or who I at least have focused on summons. We don't really have a whole lot of defense because the whole point is that he's supposed to be squishy. The glass cannons, so to speak, are supposed to be still have like sort of a glass cannon feel because they're very, very powerful, and the idea is that they stay back. So like Spider-Man, who is pretty much solely melee, needs to have that massive damage reduction so that he can be in the melee combat and things of that nature. So Nightcrawler's dodge should be crazy high, absolutely. And this goes back to the original way that dodge worked with the 100% decrease. You could actually stack dodge so high that you could basically never get hit, particularly with Spider-Man. He was notorious for this. And the thing is that we don't want to go back to that. I certainly know that I don't want to go back to that. But at the same time, we need to find a middle ground, and I think that this is going to go a long way towards that. Excuse me, but it's definitely going to need some adjustments before it really works and before it's really truly worthwhile in that sense, right? So this is Test Center, right? I didn't just get rid of like a whole bunch of stuff that I needed. All right. Back in the danger room here, everything's been retuned, so hopefully we'll be able to have a better experience in it. We'll see. We'll try. Let's take a look at the vendor here. So the vendor hasn't changed as far as all the stuff that they're offering. But for those of you who watched my stream last week, you may remember that I had a pretty horrible experience with most of these scenarios because they were insanely difficult. And I had a very tough time getting through them. So we'll go ahead and try this one. So this is challenge rating of 30. The highest that I have seen is a 40. So this is pretty high up there. It is an epic rated scenario, so it should be fairly tough. We'll see how it is. I'm going to pick up a Cosmic. Now, last time, if you guys were here, I was unable to complete Cosmic scenarios with my Rocket Raccoon. The problem now, of course, is that we've got both the defense revamp as well as all this other stuff going on. With the changes to the... Wow! Ouch! With the changes to the danger room. So we'll see how it goes. And I am keeping in mind that this is meant to be a fairly difficult challenge. However, you know, there's only so far that we can go. Okay. So again, Epic's supposed to be difficult. Totally understand. Last time, one of the biggest issues I had was I got crippled by all of the challenges. In this case, we've got 2 hazards. I can't use med kits, which is very, very difficult. And again, this other challenge with the with having to spend health to proc the different powers isn't working still, so that's kind of interesting. I do still feel very class canon-y. The problem is that, again, this has been tuned, and we also have the defensive changes as well. So I don't know if I can really fairly assess exactly what's going on here right now. But we'll try. It's certainly not as bad as the Cosmics were, but just to reiterate, the whole point for me using Rocket here is that my Rocket is pretty well equipped. I can run Axis, I can run Red, I can run Red Raids in Muspelheim, all that good stuff. But at the same time, I'm struggling a decent amount, which is very unfortunate. And I'm not looking forward to trying out that Cosmic because I have a feeling it's not going to be much better. And this is kind of cool. I like the little purple things on the ground that indicate where those fire traps are. Let's see. I'm going to take a look at the chat. Alright. I know that there's a lot of people who are still somewhat disappointed in this. And my problem is that I want to play it solo because that's really how it was pitched. It was pitched as an endgame solo mode that we can use to farm and get really good, super awesome stuff. The problem is, like, difficult is one thing, but if you can fairly easily run red raids and that kind of thing and be unable to complete these, that's pushing the envelope just a touch for my taste. But we'll see. Yeah, his health just isn't going down very fast. And the thing is that these guys don't have any sort of enhancements. They're not frenzied or teleporters or anything like that. They're just regular bad guys in this regular scenario, so to speak. So let's see what we got. And don't worry, I'm not going to spend too much time on this. I'm going to keep today relatively short, comparatively concise to some of the other stuff I've done recently. But hope that you guys are enjoying yourselves. Obviously, feel free to ask any questions. I know I always say that, but I have to keep reminding myself too. Alright, so we got to destroy this. I worry that this is going to be one of those things where I'm going to get essentially saved by the helpful objective here. I'm trying to destroy it! I can't destroy it, danger! Really? It can survive nuclear blasts? Really? I doubt that. So, yeah, this is frustrating, to say the least. The way that the optional objectives work is I've got this this progress bar here, and if you complete the optional ones... Oh, geez, did you see that health? Good lord! No way! No, 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 no. I'm out. The way the optional ones work is if you complete them, then they just give you massive boosts towards the completion. So it's a good way to finish out your objectives if you need a little bit of assistance. However, in a situation like this, I don't think I would ever want to do it. Alright, in an epic scenario, well, it's a lot of elites, to be fair, but just like last week, these guys are tearing apart my summons. In all other content, nothing is capable of doing this. Raid bosses can't do that to me. But elites in an epic danger room scenario can tear my summons to shreds. And I don't know how good or bad that is. We'll see. Not being able to use medkits definitely is a challenge. Woo! Alright. So yeah, this is with, by and large, I've got BIS gear, best in slot gear. I've got a fully leveled item grade 80 legendary. So I'm fairly well up on damage here. I've got, I think, 30 intelligence, which is my my thing for my summons, all that good stuff. So see, these regular guys go down nicely. The problem is they barely fill the progress bar. Right. I'm going to go ahead and ult. Okay, so again, we're looking at my ultimate now barely being able to take down a group of elites. And, what? Wow. I got killed in my ultimate. You know, I ain't even mad. That's just impressive. Okay. Head back. Oh, man. I might leave this early because this is taking a lot longer than I was hoping it would. Um, and I don't believe that this is due solely to the defensive revamps, because it's not necessarily that I'm taking damage, it's that doing damage I'm having a lot of problems with, unfortunately. So yes, that's exactly right, Baptista. So see, I got 31 intelligence, and I'll show you where they are. So they're all in the psionics tree. So right here, this is summoned ally damage, which is obviously quite nice to have. But essentially, most of the stuff in that central circle increases your intelligence in some way, shape, or form. This one does a single increase, and you can do it up to 10 times. This is the big one, plus 6 intelligence. And then you can also do mind over matter, which is it increases your intelligence and your energy, but you have to sacrifice durability and strength for it. So yeah, that's basically how I got it so high. So potentially I could have even more. I could have another 4 and another 6, so another 10. So potentially I could be at 41. So it's a lot of intelligence. And also I do have the pet that gives me a +3 as well. Okay. I think I'm gonna go ahead and body slide out of here. I will complete one of the lower scenarios just because I really want to see how they've tuned the rewards, because that was another big issue that I, as well as a lot of other people, had. But mostly I just want to see a cosmic level and see how bad that is. And it's probably not going to let me swap out my team up here, but I'll try. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah, no. And, I mean, I can understand. You can come in here with a group. You can. The problem is, it's not advertised as such. Like, you don't go in here under the impression that you're going to be doing that. Again, it was originally pitched as a single-player game scenario. But that's really not what we've got right now. We've got an extremely difficult multiple one. Alright, so we got random boss, we got extra healing, which is nice. Okay. Alright, we'll try this. So again, this one is a challenge rating of 27 versus 30 for the last one. But the one I'm going into right now is a cosmic level. This is a cosmic difficulty. So we'll see how we do. There are the lightning orbs right there. One of the hazards. Let's see how we're doing here. So, rescuing the civilians. I mean, this is the same issue as before. Like before, as in last week, where I just I feel like I should be able to do it. I feel like I've got the gear, I've got the potential to do it, but the problem is just there is so much health on these bad guys that it's nearly impossible. And it just takes a ridiculously large amount of time to do something that really shouldn't take so long. So, like, look at this. I mean, we've got these elites trying to take them down, but it's just taking so long. They have way too much health. And again, it's not necessarily difficult for me to do this. It's just this is way longer than it should be for what the goal of this mode was. All right, so let's release these guys right quick. Get that. If you're familiar with Ultron mode, then I'm sure that you've seen those little silver orbs, which indicate that you've done stuff. Alright, so you saw I had a nice big jump there for my progress bar because I completed the, what's it called, the optional quest. The problem is I still need quite a bit. Really? I was like barely standing in front of a rock, so it blew up on the rock. Not cool. Excuse me. Jeez. Now, this very well could be because I am not playing as a particularly defensive hero. So I do have to stay back a good bit, but that is the point of Rocket. Shocker, really? Get out my face. I don't want to deal with him. The bosses are even worse. They take so long to take down. It's absolutely insane. I won't do it. Go away, Shocker! I'm not your friend! Try to get as far away from him as I can. Hopefully he won't bug me over here. Alright. Okay, fine. So they tore me apart very easily. I got you. Whatever. It's all good. Oh, man. And I'm still very curious because I haven't seen any, but supposedly we can get unique level scenarios. The nice thing about those is that they're not actually consumed when you use them. So if you fail, you can try it again. But if this is how it's going to stay with as far as the difficulty rating is concerned, I don't know, man. This is pretty rough. Although I will admit, it's not as bad as it was last week. It's not much better, but it's not as bad. My team up is having a lot of trouble with survivability, which obviously sucks. Now that team ups are actually fairly useful. And of course the problem now is I want to complete a higher level scenario just so that I can see what the rewards are for it, because they revamped the rewards as well. Now you can see that it's jumping up a decent amount whenever I take down one of these elite guys. But jeez, it should not be this painful to do. You know, this kind of reminds me of whenever the Cosmic Trial thing first started up. We had a bunch of the same issues where, and we still do, where it's incredibly difficult. And, I mean, if you don't have survivability, if you don't have AoE, then you basically cannot complete the Cosmic Trial. At least not without substantial pain and suffering. And this seems very, very similar. Again, this is actually a lower challenge rating than the one that I had before. However, it doesn't feel like it. It really doesn't. And now I'm just stuck here trying to take down these guys so I can finish up the scenario. And then I still have 2 more to go. So this might be a little while. We're still having the thing where the critical strikes are coming up. So I don't know if that's an issue, but like the little bubble of critical strike still comes up every once in a while. It says that they're all supposed to be brutal strikes, but see, like there I just had one that looked like a critical. He's getting healed too. So this is sad. I can't even compete with whatever minor healing this guy is getting from wherever he's getting it. I assume that they were healing each other. But, seriously, this is not supposed to be so difficult. All of my summons, all of my powers, barely takes this guy down in like 10 seconds. Everything on just that one guy. That is not supposed to be how this is. I'm just saying. Ugh. This is always the difficult balance to strike, though. I mentioned this last week as well, where, yes, we want something that's challenging, we want something that we feel like we can do and we have replayability with, but at the same time, I don't want to feel like it's ridiculously tedious. And that's what this is right now. And the problem is, even with heavy hitter, high damage heroes, you can run into a lot of problems in here. I mean, the obvious thing is that the challenges make everything more difficult. That's the whole point. But at the same time, it shouldn't be this tough. And it shouldn't be this utterly tedious to finish up a scenario like this. It really should not be. In my opinion, obviously. I wish I could, like, fast forward through this so I could see the rewards. But seriously, how long have I taken so far? I mean, I've been here, what, almost half an hour? I mean, my ultimate is back after I used it in the last attempt on that other scenario. Like, I don't know. Mini boss? The fudge? That's kind of cool. I like that we've got the new affixes. That's pretty cool. However, I imagine it's quite unpleasant still. Jeez, look at them just tearing through my summons! WT Fudge Brood! You're not supposed to be able to do that. Wow! I can't believe it took that long. Sorry. I thought of inappropriate things. I'm disgusting. I know! I'm a terrible person. I accept it. Really? You stupid beetles getting in the way? I might have to leave this one too. I might have to go down to a green just so I can actually finish something. Oh, jeez. This is not good. Not good at all. I mean, without some of these optional objectives, these would take far, far longer than is really viable for a typical gameplay session. I don't know about you guys, but I will typically play... I mean, if I get a chance to really play every day, then I might play for an hour, hour and a half more often than not. I mean, I don't want to be stuck completing one scenario in the amount of time I have to play. That's just sad. I mean, seriously. These mushrooms are very helpful, though. Oh no, I don't want to deal with Mr. Sinister. Mostly because it's not on live. If I was on live, I might try. Alright, see? And look, I barely have anything left to complete for the scenario itself now. After that optional one. So this is taking a fraction of the time. A fraction, a very small fraction of the time that it took me to complete the first section. And that's really sad. Look, see, I'm done. I don't know if that's supposed to happen, but it did. Oh, good. It's only 3. I thought it was 4. I don't know why. Alright, so obviously we'll go ahead. We'll summon Magik. Dude, seriously? Wait, did he take out Groot? He did! He took out Groot! No joke, that is the first time I have ever seen anything take out Groot. Like the turrets, yes, I have seen that. But Groot, even my turrets, they can survive freaking, what's his name? Surtur's ground stab. Groot is totally fine after it. My turrets are just like, yo, what up? But Groot can't survive this Sauron. What the fudge, guys? Seriously. How is this supposed to make sense? And look, I used my ultimate and I got him down, what, maybe a fourth-ish? Like, seriously, this is not how these are supposed to go. At least I hope it's not. I assume that his enrage field really jacks him up, though. Come on now. Wow. Dude, he took out Groot again! Good lord! Yeah, get him, ninja! Ha! My hand ninja was showing him what was what. Y'all saw that. Ah. Oh, really? Really? Why are you gonna bogart me like that, game? Not cool. So, for those of you who don't know, the survival bonus is an extra chest that you get at the end of the scenario after you're finished with everything. And I just lost it. I'm only going to get the main chest. Alright, well, I don't care. I'm going to complete this. I'm going to defeat Sauron. And I'm going to see what the rewards look like. And I'm going to resummon Groot because he got killed again! If you can defeat Groot, then there is something seriously wrong here. Okay, so that's actually something interesting as well. Where the summon ally... because the summon ally health and defense, I believe, were also changed with this thing, with this change. There we go. Summon ally health, only 240%. Huh. Well, let me see if there's something on the power for Groot. Okay. That's unfortunate. So, Groot has almost 2,000% of my health. That is 20 times my health. But he only gets the damage reduction that I get, which is only 32%. That negates the purpose of having a tank. I'm just saying. So, it's unfortunate that everything with the summons was changed so drastically as well. And then, of course, team-ups have the same issue. Especially because, in general, the team-ups are not designed to, you know, get out the way. Or the like. This is seriously ridiculous. Look how quickly he's taken down all my stuff. So, again, this particular aspect might be because that he isn't even getting injured anymore. Come on. And now I'm going to run out of spirit. Oh my God! Are you serious right now? How does this make any sense? Okay, seriously? I'm probably just gonna leave, because this makes... This is ridiculous. This should not be. This is not fun. This is not in any way enjoyable, and it's certainly not seemingly completable. I have done as much damage as I can, as quickly as I can, and it doesn't matter. It really just does not matter. He's got that stupid healing beam thing that just sucks out all the life of my guys. And for whatever reason, it works on robots. I can't do enough damage quickly enough. Seriously. Oh my God, this is just dumb. I'm out.
I'm out! Laters! See ya, Sauron! No frickin' way!
That was some bull. Giant steaming pile of bull. Not cool. How about we try this one? A nice little green, where enemies are gargantuan. Let's see if I can actually complete a scenario for once. Wouldn't that be nice? Wow, they are gargantuan. That's cool. Look at that. I'm actually able to defeat bad guys. It's a miracle. So we've gone down, what, 3 levels now? Because I was at Cosmic and now I'm at a green. Yeah, 3 levels. It's ridiculous. Yeah, when you use 2 ultimates on a boss and it still doesn't work, and they have perpetual healing capabilities that completely negate your damage, then there's just no point. Absolutely none. This seems much nicer. And it really worries me too, because like if I got into that situation on live, you know, it was a cosmic scenario. And the thing is, the cosmic scenarios are going to be expensive. So it really makes me worry about how much we're going to end up having to spend on some of this stuff. And on top of that, like, it took me a while before I gave up just trying to test it so I could see what the rewards are. But if I had paid like a substantial amount of in-game currency of whatever sort for it, then obviously I wouldn't have wanted to leave, and I just keep banging my head against the wall. But, I mean, that was absolutely ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. Alright, well, after this scenario here, I'm actually going to get going, because unfortunately I actually have to go to work, because work need get done. That's how I do. But hopefully we'll be able to see at least some decent rewards. That's still the biggest question for me, is how are the rewards? And incidentally, obviously, the issues with, what's his name, Sauron there, weren't really because of defense, necessarily. That was purely either his health or his defense. So I don't know if the bad guys really got affected with that, but if they did, then they gotta get tuned down. Just a smidgen. And see, now we got this mini-boss thing, which is pretty crazy. Aw, I didn't defeat the mini-boss! No! Aw, man! Right before I defeated the mini-boss. Anything that isn't living needs to be destroyed. Okay, I can do that. Technically, the robots aren't living, I'm just saying. But I'm pretty sure they don't count as aim assets. This is just like the legendary quest where you do the same thing. $25 assets. Whoa, we're halfway there. Whoa, whoa. Destroying some assets. This is why I don't music.
Hey!
Wow, that barely got anything though. Didn't do much for my progress, unfortunately. I think that aspect is a little bit odd as well, where you've got very disparate numbers for the for how, or the utility of the what's it called, scenario, the optional quests. We'll skip this song. Sorry, Pentatonics. We do love you, but still. We'll go back to Juan. That's his name, Juan. Did I really just go in a giant circle? Where's the rest of ye? Here we go. One thing that I do really like is the fact that the maps are a lot more dynamic now. So that was a problem that we had in the very early testing, is that the maps really never changed. But now they're much, much better in that sense. Oh, mini-boss, I'm going to get this one this time. Come on. You got it. Mini-boss down! What was the point of taking down the mini-boss? It barely filled my progress bar and I didn't even get any cool stuff. That's annoying. Man. Everybody knows that the mini-bosses are supposed to drop cool stuff that help you fight the final boss. Most of the time, if you don't defeat the mini-boss, then you can't even fight the final boss. Because you got to go and get the hook shot or whatever. I'm just saying. Just depending on what level you're in. Well, it's nice that these guys can't destroy my turrets. Or if they can, it would be like them fighting Sauron was for me. Alright. Very nearly there. So after this, we just got the boss. And then we will be good to go. Get some rewards. I haven't died at all, so I should be able to get the... what's it called? The survivalist bonus. Knock on wood. Alright. Let's go. Next to simulation. Living laser. Interesting. Marvelous! Gargantuan. But what is he more of? Is he more gargantuan than marvelous? So see, this is more of what I'm used to. Obviously. I'd say this is probably equivalent to what, like a red terminal? I mean, it's a little bit tougher than a red terminal, but... like, between red and cosmic is... I mean, maybe even cosmic, because typically I was able to destroy the major bad guys of a cosmic terminal with a single fight, or a single use of my ultimate, rather. Okay. So now we're in the treasure room here. So let's see what we got. Where did that danger room scenario go? I know I picked one up. This must be it. No, that's the one I had before. I know I picked up a danger room scenario. There we go. Oh, that's the one I got from Beast. Nah. Alright, so this is the bonus one for the survivability. And I got nothing. And this is the regular one. Seriously? Seriously? That's it? What the fudge, guys? What the fudge? Fine, it's only a challenge rating of 10, but it still took me a good 10 minutes? 8-ish? I mean, like, what the fudge? That's, it's kind of sad. Kinda sad. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy a bunch of Danger Room blue boxes. Black box. Fun. I want another one. Oh man, why can't they stack? Ha! This is why I need to stop actually doing stuff on Test Center, because I only make myself sad. It's okay, it's not really better than what I've already got, so it's fine. Alright. Well, like I said, that'll be it for me now, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video with our Test Center friends. If you missed any of it, I will be putting the whole thing on YouTube, so you can take a look at the entire thing, hopefully, at least. But yeah, I mean, I hope that you like Magik. Go into Test Center, try her out for yourself. She is definitely a lot of fun. Tremendous character, absolutely amazing. I certainly had a blast there. And you know, with the defense thing, obviously, is still in testing. Hence, it's in the Test Center. It's okay. I can't think today. I'm sorry. But I hope that you like that more so than what we currently have with like random numbers just telling us a bunch of random stuff that makes no sense. And make sure that you go and tell Gazillion that the Danger Room is way, way too hard, because this is insane. It's absolutely ridiculous, And at the very least, Sauron needs to be taken down a couple of pegs. But thank you guys very much. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you on Monday. I will be